What if I told you a love story could actually be a secret code for a geopolitical powder keg? That's the audacious gamble of Natalka Vorozhbyt's new film Demons, which just premiered at Locarno, and trust me, this isn't your typical romance. On the surface, it's about a Russian drifter crashing in a Ukrainian village in the 90s, sparking a twisted relationship with a woman who becomes both savior and executioner. But dig deeper, and this film is a brutal Rorschach test for anyone trying to understand the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Let's unpack why this matters. Here's the setup. Slavik, a self-proclaimed Russian writer with zero credibility, stumbles into Nina's life, a fiercely independent Ukrainian woman old enough to be his mother. Their dynamic starts as a weirdly tender odd couple situation, then spirals into betrayal and existential dread. But Vorozhbyt isn't just playing with romantic tropes here. She's weaponizing them. Because when she says the story operates on 3 levels, what she's really saying is, pay attention, this is a Trojan horse for understanding centuries of tension. Let's dissect the obvious first layer, the personal. Slavik's a mess, homeless, manipulative, clinging to a fabricated identity. Nina's the grounded realist who's seen empires crumble. Their relationship feels like a twisted telenovela until you realize Vorozhbyt's stacking metaphors like Jenga blocks. Slavik's delusional self-mythologizing. That's Russia's obsession with its imperial past. Nina's reluctant generosity followed by brutal self-defense. Ukraine's balancing act between Slavic solidarity and self-preservation. But here's the thing, Vorozhbyt refuses to make either character purely sympathetic. That's the masterstroke. This isn't a morality play. It's a psychological autopsy of how intimacy curdles into occupation. Now let's get uncomfortable with the socio-political layer. Setting this in the 90s wasn't random. That's when the Soviet divorce papers were still drying. A time when Ukraine was frantically redefining itself while Russia nursed its wounded pride. Slavik's blurred past isn't just personal baggage. It's a nation's unresolved trauma. When Nina takes him in, then systematically dismantles his lies. It's like watching a microcosm of Ukraine's struggle. We tried to share this space, but your identity crisis keeps burning down the house. What many viewers miss is how the village itself becomes a character. A closed ecosystem where gossip is currency and outsiders are threats. Sound familiar? But the real genius is the mystical layer. Witches? Ghosts? Talking to the dead? This isn't just folklore window dressing. Vorozhbyt's tapping into Ukraine's rich oral traditions to say something profound. The past isn't dead. It's actively haunting our present decisions. Those spectral voices? They're the unmarked graves in Donbass. The witches? Maybe they're the women who've survived every invasion since the Mongols. By blending the supernatural with the hyper-real, Vorozhbyt forces us to confront a terrifying truth. Some national traumas can't be solved with diplomacy alone. They require exorcism. What fascinates me most is how Demons anticipated the 2022 invasion. Vorozhbyt wrote this script before the current war escalated. Yet it's dripping with the same existential dread. This isn't prophecy, it's pattern recognition. She saw how cycles of dependency and aggression repeat across centuries. The betrayal in this film isn't just personal. It's generational. When Slavik screams, "You need me," at Nina, it's chilling because you realize Russia's entire identity crisis hinges on making Ukraine its sidekick in a story Ukraine already rejected. So here's my closing thought. Why do we keep using romantic metaphors for geopolitical conflicts? Because at their core, both are about power dynamics, unmet expectations, and the stories we tell ourselves to justify pain. Demons isn't giving you answers. It's handing you a mirror. What do you see? A broken relationship? A fractured empire? Or maybe the universal tragedy of people who keep reliving the same arguments in different centuries? Let me know what you think. And if you're brave enough to watch the trailer, just remember, sometimes the scariest demons aren't the ones you can see.